So Steve and I are in the shop. I have my 2008 Jeep JK in here, and I had a tie rod and brake on me off the pitman arm of all things the other day. Actually, it happened to my kid, and she wasn't going fast, so luckily everything was okay with that, but it's a dangerous situation. We check everything all the time on these trucks when we do oil changes, but this is just one of those things that failed. We'll show you what happened. And I'm gonna replace the drag link assembly. So the tie rod and failed is right here. The ball literally pulled out of the socket down here. And like I said, we checked all this stuff not long ago at all. It was tight, and just the part that failed. Stuff happens, right, Steve?
Yeah, pretty crazy. We just had this thing on the lift and we were shaking the wheels left and right, and everything seemed good. And I know his daughter ran out four-wheeling with it. So he got a whole kit here. So this part is the drag link part that connects to the steering pitman arm, and this is the part that centers your wheel. This does not keep your wheels in a line. It only centers the steering wheel. So he bought a kit that we're going to take this stuff off and put it on the floor, and we're going to measure center to center from our joints here, and that's going to get us close to where to center the steering wheel. But we're going to end up going out and driving the vehicle, and we'll have this sleeve so that it's not completely tight so that we can adjust this. And this sleeve right here, which is one closest to the pitman arm, is one that centers your steering wheel. It does not affect your wheel alignment, it just centers your steering wheel. So we're gonna do measurement from center to center here once we get this on the floor, just to give us our ballpark to get it close to where it was. We're using a 21 millimeter. Yeah, 21, we'll get this off. And then we're gonna hit this, shock this to get it off. We don't have to use the tie rod tool. All right, so let's get this off, started. Okay, I'm just gonna let it sit on the top here, a little loose, so it don't fall on the ground on me. Hit this with the hand, this thing should shock free. We have to take the old off of the pitman arm. It only looks in on the side, that little sucker stayed on there. So we're just going to grab that with vice grips, spray our penetrating oil, and then take the top off. So we're going to crack this thing loose, and the box is trying to pull towards into the corner here. So we're going to let it pull into where it stops. And get our cheetah bar on here. And I'm really hoping that the ball socket spins, but if we have to give this thing a couple of smacks, we will. And this is a 13/16 I'm using, well, maybe a 19th metric. Yeah, we're gonna have to rinse this baby all the way. Love it. So the fork does have a little room to travel, so we're gonna try and see if this will work for us. Joy. The joy of it all.
It's like going to the dentist, right, Steve? I freaking hate the dentist.
You leave smiling, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so me and Tony measured from the center of this to the center of the socket over here, and we came up with 40.5. And then we adjusted our sleeve over here, and we adjusted this one from the center of the grease fitting to the center of this one, and we came up to 40.5. So this is the one that just adjusts the centering position of your steering wheel. So if we put this on, and our steering wheel isn't centered when we go and drive it, we don't really care. We're just going to adjust this sleeve, and we'll show you how to adjust the sleeve, and that's going to turn your steering wheel to get it centered. So this one, the top bar that goes to the pitman arm, this isn't affecting your wheel alignment. It's only going to affect centering your steering wheel. But we wanted a starting position to get close to where we were before, because I believe the steering wheel was centered before, right?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Okay. All right, so we're going to slide this side in, and you can sit this on the tie rod end. You can push it up. Let's get our. Now, you kind of want to pay attention to where our cotter pin's going to go. It's facing right here. It just makes it easier for when I go to look for it. All right, and we'll tighten these all up by hand again, just to make sure. All right, so we got a cotter pin here. We got a nut over here. Because we have our pitman arm over here, we should be able to push this back over. Because our wheels are already going to the left. So we'll go this way. So let's find out. All right, our cotter pin's right in the front. All right, we're gonna tighten these up with the wrench. Get our cotter pins in. Now, you got 4 grease fittings on the front of this truck now. What we took off didn't have grease fittings, and I don't know, I'd pay the extra for the grease fittings personally. Much rather have them. Okay, there's that hole. I think we're there. Okay. Cotter pin slides in. Okay, we'll bend that over in a second. Now we're going to tighten that top one over there. And we'll do our cotter pins together. This looks like a 19, right? We looked at this one and we found that our cotter pin was basically at 12 o'clock, so this one's going to be more difficult to see after you get it tight. Let's see if we can line up that cotter pin. Got it right here. I'm gonna do a little more. It's almost there. Should do it. Okay. All right, so we get our side cutters, bend these over, and we're going to grease this thing up. Okay. Get this one. It's going to be a little more difficult to get, but not too bad. Okay. All right, these are all bent over. Let's grease this thing up now. And we just want to grease it so we get enough grease coming to see the boot coming out. We don't have to blow the boot all out. You know, I'm going to grease this on oil changes, and you know, we happen to do our oil changes on 5,000 mile intervals, so we get a good look at the vehicle. If we want to see the boot starting to expand, that's it. We already seen it expand. We don't need to blow it out. This one's starting to expand. Happy with that. So this one there. Okay, about 7 pumps it seems, and then the boots. 2, 3, 4. This one took a little more. About 10 on that one. All right, so it's all greased up. So now we're going to put the tires on it, and then we're going to back it out, and then this is going to be our adjustment point right here to make sure. We're going to put the tow bar on it. We should be really close, but if we have to adjust this, then we're going to just adjust this, and that's going to pull this wheel and center this whole sleeve assembly for us. So we're just going to use this point here, and this is going to center move both of our wheels out or in if we want, just by this adjustment here. So we're going to set up for this, and then we'll get the tires on. So we got our paint mark on our sleeve, and we use that tow bar, and we're towing in 5/16 of an inch. So if we go 1 full turn here, we should be within our range. And I'm trying to make sure, I think that's pulling the wheel in. Yeah, we're going the right way. Okay. So we get our mark kind of right where we had it. And now we're going to do another tow reading. Check that. All right, so we adjusted our sleeve, and that adjustment point that Tony was just showing you, we went, if you're looking at that sleeve at it, we went counterclockwise, and that sucked the wheel in. And we just want 1 full turn with it, and we're at 0 to 1/16 in, so I'm comfortable with that. So we're gonna go down and lock the tie rod end part of it up, and then we're gonna go out and drive it and make sure the wheel is centered where we are. And if it's not, we'll have that sleeve on the top, which we showed you, to adjust that, which is gonna center our steering wheel. So right now, looking at the wheel, tires are straight. The wheel is pretty damn straight, so we're going to drive it down the road and make sure that it's dead perfect for Tony. So, all right, so we'll get everything from the bottom in it. We're going to tighten this sleeve up. I'll tell you what size bolts you need for that, and then we'll be good.
Hey, I wanted to add, if you want to learn how to use one of those tow bars, Steve and I have a video on how to use it, and I'll link in the description of this video over to that video so you can check that out.
We bought the tow bar from Cornwell, and it's a great tool. You know, counting your turns and measuring is going to get you close, but the tow bar it's probably a $150 tool, and man, it just makes you so much more secure when you're doing your wheel winding. They get a 15/16 wrench too. Oh, wait. There you go.
Yep.
All right, that's all tight. 15/16 wrench in the impact gun, and we get the sleeve all tight, and it's right in the front forward position where we want it. It's not going to be in the way of anything. It's perfect position. And that sleeve right here, this tightened the sleeve and the tie rod end, so that's all one piece now. It's all tight. And we checked the front end. The ball joints are all good on it. We're going to end up doing some axle joints on it. They're a little orange, and that's going to be done at another time. And now our adjustment is up here on this sleeve, and we're going to go out and drive the vehicle and find out
if the wheel is just where we want it. And when we come back, we will adjust this sleeve right here, if Tony can get in here, and we'll turn this sleeve, and that's going to center the steering wheel. We measured it, it should be really close, and if it is, we're going to hammer it down right where it is. So, but we'll get it done. So, all right, we're going to go for road test. Okay, so we did our final adjustment. We were basically one turn off to get the steering wheel perfectly centered. The wheel was to the left, and it was probably, you know, say 11 o'clock. We went one full turn, and we're looking at the sleeve from my angle. If I tighten the sleeve clockwise to the pitman arm, that drew the steering wheel from the left towards the center to 12 o'clock position. And that's where we wanted it. We only ended up turning it one full turn. And the steering wheel is perfect. We got our toe set at about 5/30 seconds to a 16th in. So we're happy there. We tightened up this big nut right here, which is a 15/16. So that one's done. Now we just gotta tighten this. It's a 17 millimeter here, and these are 18s on this side. So I'm gonna try and somehow finagle the impact gun in here, and then tighten this thing up. So if I put the 18 on this side here, and try and get the 17 in this way, that is the plan. And that ain't gonna happen. So we're gonna have to tighten this thing by hand with the ratchet. So I'm gonna get a long ratchet and snug this thing up. And I can't get in on this side with it, so we'll go with the long breaker bar, and we'll tighten these things right up. I like the position that these are in right now. I want to keep them there, as far as they're not in the way of anything. Yeah, I could have used a gear wrench down here, but, you know, but I didn't. Hey, why not? I want to make sure these are nice and tight. Ooh. That one's tight. All right, let's get this one now. All right. Yeah, I could have put it on the lift. I could have did a lot of things, but it's a tight space to get a impact gun in there with a shallow socket, so all right, let's all right, that's all she wrote. Everything's tight underneath here. Everything's greased. The wheel alignment's done. The sleeves are all tight. The adjuster sleeve on this one down here is all tight. And Tony's a happy camper.